In today's very tight economy, millions have experienced the setback of downsizing, furloughs, or reduction in pay and benefits. If this is the situation you are currently facing, this very informative video will show you the way of giving yourself a pay raise or just gaining back the income you've already lost by putting yourself into an effective and legitimate tax position. As with all financial matters, we advise to first consult a financial professional before making any decision in regards to your personal finances. To give us a better insight on this, here is certified tax preparer Robert Santana.
Hello, my name is Robert Santana and I am co-founder of FSCI Fabulous Services Company, Inc. In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you some information that can change your tax perspective as an employee forever and give you the knowledge that you need to potentially give yourself a pay raise by your next paycheck if you understand how you can take control over your tax situation. Let's get started. A Dutch philosopher once said that the tax system is designed for two types of people, for the informed and for the uninformed. For the informed, the tax system is designed to work for them. For the uninformed, the tax system is designed to work against them. Allow me to illustrate for you something that you might be able to relate to. If you have a full-time job, you fall under the uninformed category. What does this mean? What this means is that you go to work, you put in your 40 hours a week, taxes are taken out, and what's left over is really yours. Then what you do is you go out and you spend that money for your own living expenses, and at the end of the year, after all of your hard work, you're probably not looking forward to tax time, especially if you have no dependents and you don't own property. Let me show you an example of how this works. In this case scenario, we're going to illustrate a person that's single, that has a full-time job, has no dependents, owns no property, and is earning about $40,000 a year, and is paying around 24 to 30% tax. These are some of the average expenses that you're going to encounter as we move through this. The first one is rent. Rent can vary anywhere from $500 a month to $2,000 a month. In this case scenario, let's just say that rent is $1,200 for this person. Next is utilities. Utilities range anywhere from $60 to $200. Let's take an average of about $100 a month. Mileage. We all use our cars. Let's just say mileage, you're driving around 15,000 miles a year and you're spending in gasoline around $200 a month. Cell phone. Everyone has a personal cell phone. Let's just say cell phones range anywhere from $45 up to $200 a month, depending on your plan. In this case, let's be conservative, and your cell phone bill is only $65 a month. Internet. Internet is fairly cheap. Now it's about $35 a month, and some people have cable that's enwrapped between internet and cable, which could be a little bit more. But in this case scenario, let's just take $35. The next one is meals. Now, most single people, they eat out. Now, they eat out almost every day. In this case scenario, let's just say that you're eating out only 3 times a week. And can we agree that maybe for the meal, tax, tip, and a drink, you may average about $10 for that meal. If you're eating 3 meals a day, you're talking about $30 in a day. If you're eating out 3 times a week, you're talking about $90 per week. If you multiply that by 4 weeks, you're now talking about $360 a month in eating out. Entertainment. Let's just say in this case scenario that it only costs about $25 for you to go out and experience some entertainment. So in this case, if you're doing $25 a week, in a month you're spending about $100 in entertainment. Next is vacation. Now, the majority of us may not be able to afford a vacation. When we do a weekend getaway, we're talking about maybe an average of $100 a month. Now, how do we come out with this figure? Well, a weekend getaway really, if you go out of state or you go to a cabin or so on and so forth, you're normally spending about $300 for that weekend. Now, you don't do that every month, but let's say you do it once a quarter. There's 4 quarters in the year. You're spending $300 per quarter, so you're talking about $1,200 in a year. If you divide that into 12 months, you're talking about an expense of about $100 a month. So in this case scenario, your total monthly expenses are $2,180 a month, which is $26,160 a year. Now let me ask you this question. When you do your taxes, how much of this can you write off if they're a personal expense? The answer is nothing. Why is that? That's because the tax system is working against you. What if there is a way where I can show you where you can turn your personal expenses into legal tax write-offs, and now it's going to give you control over your tax situation? Would this help? Let me share with you the solution. The solution for you, especially in this economy, is to become an owner of your own home-based business. According to Bernard B. Kamroff, who's a CPA, he wrote a book, 422 Tax Deductions for Businesses and Self-Employed Individuals. This is an A to Z guide to hundreds of tax write-offs. You see, for the informed, the tax system works different. They work, they put in their time, they make their money, they spend their money, and what's left over, they pay taxes. According to world-renowned expert Robert Kiyosaki, who's the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he says business ownership is key. It is the smart success strategy. And there's numerous benefits to owning your own business. When you have a home-based business, now you are able to have certain deductions that you might not be able to have before as an employee. So let me give you this example. Part of your rent can now become a deduction, and it can go up to 25%. Utilities can qualify up to another 25% deduction on your taxes. Mileage, a percentage of your mileage can also be deducted, and what's neat is that depending on the year, you might be able to qualify for a certain amount of money. In this example, we're talking about 55 cents per mile. Personal cell phone, as soon as you have your home-based business, now becomes a business cell phone. Cable and internet, well, that can also be a write-off, especially if your home-based business is done through the internet or you have some sort of website. Personal meals. Now, I know we all eat outside, but the reality is sometimes we have clients that we can eat and tell them about the business. So 50% of that can qualify as business meals. Same thing as personal entertainment. We all like going out, but we also can entertain our clients. And if we do that, 50% of that can be qualified for business entertainment. Personal vacations. Although it's a personal vacation and it falls under travel, it doesn't qualify for a write-off because you're working. But as a home-based business, now this can turn into business travel so long as you have the intention to pursuing a profit and you're talking to people about your business wherever it is that you're traveling to. And of course, the cost of doing business. A home-based business requires a lot of the times for you to have an initial investment, plus you have a monthly cost for you to run your home-based business. So in doing that, you're able to write off 100% of that investment and of the cost of doing business. At the end of the year, you're going to combine your taxes and do what's called a Schedule C. That means you combine your W-2 with the 1099 miscellaneous as an independent contractor. You may find yourself in one of these three tax situations. Number one, you owe taxes at the end of the year. If you own a home-based business, it's going to allow you to possibly owe less taxes. Number two, you don't owe any taxes. Well, if you have a home-based business, you have the possibility of now getting a tax refund. And number three, the government owes you the taxes and you're getting a refund. With the home-based business, you now can get a larger refund. You see, a home-based business can affect all of these situations in a very positive way. So in essence, if you were to divide, let's say, a refund of $3,000 into 12 months, you're talking about an extra $250 a month just because you have a home-based business in this illustration. So let me ask you a question. What would it take for you to make an extra $3,000 a year from your job right now? A miracle, I would say, in this economy. Now understand that our goal in owning a home-based business is to pursue a profit. But let's take the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario in this situation is that in your first year, you don't profit not one single dime. You profit nothing. It's 100% a loss. What would happen at the end of the year when you would do your taxes? Well, it's very simple. What we do is we take how much you made in your job. In this case, it's $40,000. Then we find out how much profit you made in your business. In this case, in your first year, you've made nothing. So now you take that, which is $40,000, and we find out how many expenses do you have to run your business. In this case scenario, it's $14,750 that you spent in your home-based business for that year. So when you subtract $14,750 to $40,000, you're left with $25,250 for the year. Now let me ask you a question. Would you rather pay taxes on $40,000 or $25,000? Obviously $25,000. So if you understand this correctly, it's costing you more money not to own a home-based business than to own one. In conclusion, opportunities don't go away. They simply go to someone else that takes advantage of it. Talk to the person that gave you this DVD and ask them for their help in giving you information on how you can get started with a home-based business that may be right for you. Isn't it time for you to get out of the rat race and stop becoming a professional bill payer? Take action today, because regardless of your situation, you're eventually going to have to deal with your tax situation. And for things to change, you need to change. I look forward to helping you in your tax needs in the future. You can log on to our website at www.fscitax.com. Thank you for your time, and God bless.